Good morning and thank you for joining us on Thriving on the Suncoast. You know, coming up again this year, you don't want to miss the Gluten-Free and Healthy Lifestyles Expo. It's the best place to learn about how to live a gluten-free lifestyle, and it's become a way of life for many that find gluten to be very inflammatory for their system and wreaks havoc with their lives. Come get samples, products, coupons, attend informative classes and demonstrations on nutrition, sleep, and exercise, along with hundreds of others living the gluten-free lifestyle. It's a fun family event with over 50 exhibitors and respected guest speakers. The event will be held at the Sarasota Municipal Auditorium on Saturday the 13th from 10 to 5. Go on their website, glutenfreelifestyles.org, to get your tickets. And come by the Comfort Keepers booth and say hello. I'll be there sharing information on the Helo. This is a revolutionary new technology to monitor your health and vital signs. Besides the typical heart rate and steps that many devices monitor, this monitors other things also: blood pressure, your sleep, your breath rate, calories, mood, and even can perform an EKG evaluation, all just from your wrist. And you can even track the health, your health progress and your well-being and also for a loved one from afar. So you can get alerts about their vital signs being out of normal range. And it tracks and retains your records that you can share with your doctor. You can get all this information at the website quantumhealth.helo.life. Changing topics now, Florida is #1, but not for something we really want to be ranked so high for. The Sunshine State is ranked #1 in the nation for newly diagnosed cases of HIV. Worse, none of the statistics take into consideration the number of people living with HIV/AIDS who are untested and undiagnosed. Here to bring into the light the facts, myths, and to explain why and how HIV affects seniors and others and their loved ones is Valerie Wojciechowicz. She is a peer program manager, and Cheryl Netherly, who is a nurse with CAN, which stands for the Community AIDS Network. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. This is a really interesting topic that I think is not in the spotlight anymore. And you know, when things fade from the spotlight, people don't think about it anymore. So tell us a little bit about, really what is going on. Bring us up to speed with, what's going on with people with AIDS. And the numbers are obviously staggering. Why isn't it in the news?
I don't have an answer for that, but I thank you for bringing us on and trying to bring some light and education, because I think education is where we're missing the mark. People say to me all the time, "Oh, HIV, is that still a thing?" I'm like, oh my God, yes, it's still a thing.
Yeah.
And for me, I've been living with HIV for 31 years, so I'm out in the community, I'm educating and advocating, and people still don't understand that you can't choose your partners or take your risks based on how someone looks. People still don't understand that it's out there. It doesn't attack any particular demographic. All it takes is one person, one time, but they just don't get it. They still seem to think also that you can tell by looking at someone, and I don't know a single person that fits that stereotypical 1980s picture.
I think some people are also under the impression still that you take a pill and it goes away.
Yeah.
I was talking to a young man recently and he said, well, Magic Johnson, he takes a pill and it's undetectable, so that means he doesn't have it anymore. And I explained to him that that's not what that means. It means he still has it. It just means that his viral load is undetectable, but that doesn't mean that he's cured of HIV, because there is no cure for HIV at this time.
So how is it addressed medically when somebody has HIV?
There are medications that we can use. It used to be that HIV was considered a disease that was something that you could potentially die from. These days it is considered a long-term illness. It is something that's a chronic disease. It is something that you can live a very healthy life with and a long-term life with. But it is something that we do have to treat. It is medication that you do have to take for the rest of your life. And we can give you a very healthy life with that, but you have to be treated.
I also think part of the problem is that just that little bit of knowledge is out there. There's a pill that you can take. And yes, my health is managed medically really quite well with the medications that I take, But with HIV, it's different than any other diagnosis because the stigma is out there, and we self-stigmatize ourselves and society stigmatizes us, and so living with HIV is a lot more complicated than just take a pill.
Well, obviously a lot of people are not thinking about it and they're having unprotected sex, and so obviously it's very easy to pass on potentially if you're not taking the right precautions.
In this country, every year we have about 50,000 new cases, and to me, the whole thing comes down to education, that we're just not getting to people in the community who need the education.
Does HIV and AIDS mean the same thing?
They don't. They do. No, they don't. So yes and no is the answer. HIV is the virus that attacked my body. Its job is to destroy my immune system. When my immune system gets weakened to a certain point, I tend to get sicker more often, and that's where I would be classified with an AIDS diagnosis. They're really the same thing.
So it's just another type of virus. There's many viruses that attack the body and weaken it and so forth, but this one obviously has a devastating effect. So what are some of the repercussions of, how it hurts your body?
It kills your immune system.
Which basically can affect all other functionality of the body.
Exactly. If you're not, taking the medications and taking care of yourself, basically HIV attacks your immune system. So, something like your body, you get a cold, your body, your immune system takes care of getting rid of that cold. If you have a weakened immune system and you don't have that immune system to fight that cold off, that cold becomes something worse. That cold can become pneumonia. Your body isn't strong enough to fight that anymore.
I'm going to come back to that. We have to go to break right now. We'll come back and find out about AIDS and how you protect yourself. Stay with us.
Is Mom really taking her medications?
A Comfort Keeper can ensure that your loved one gets their medications on time, providing peace of mind for families in need of flexible in-home care. Comfort Keepers, let our family take care of yours.
When a stroke or injury impacts your life, we're here to help you get it back. With our dedicated team of specialists, personalized treatment plans, the most inventive technologies, and a coordinated approach to recovery. This is more than just rehabilitation. This is a higher level of care.
Let's face it, life happens, and the laws change daily. Attorney Joseph Len can help guide you with legal issues you may face while aging. Len Law has helped countless clients in Sarasota and Port Charlotte in assistance with guardianships, Medicaid planning, VA planning, estate planning, wills and trusts, probate, and Social Security disability claims.
I'm elder law attorney Joseph Len. At Len Law, seniors matter. Your rights matter. And the legacy that you built matters.
The Harvey Center for Integrative Medicine is helping people every day to thrive and live healthy, vital lives. Our integrative approach combines conventional medicine with holistic and innovative therapies to help you achieve optimal function. Are you ready to function at 100% of your ability? Dr. Fred Harvey customizes tools and treatments to achieve optimal wellness at any age.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fred Harvey. Do you want to feel vital, vibrant, and fully energized? If so, call our office to find out how.
Hey, welcome back. I'm here with Cheryl and Valerie from the Community AIDS Network. We were talking about the devastating effect that the lack of knowledge can have for people and how the AIDS virus attacks your immune system. You were saying that it can cause other problems and there's medications for it. What else should people know about that?
So the medications are awesome. They manage my health really well. My immune system, based on the numbers that we look at, is doing fantastic, especially 31 years down the road, but the medications are not without consequences. They're very expensive. They come with side effects. I mean, I'm 54 years old and I have more specialists than an 80-year-old because of all the damage that the medications have done to my body.
I don't think there's any question you don't want to be on medications if you don't have to be, for sure. So, how can seniors and teenagers have a responsible, healthy sex life?
Get tested, know your status, know your partner's status is the best thing to do. A lot of folks don't make that leap, so condoms work. Condoms are very effective in preventing HIV. And when folks say to me, well, condoms affect your sex life, and I'm like, well, yeah, but HIV affects your sex life, so it's just a condom.
I think one thing that our seniors forget is they're past the age of being worried about pregnancy, so they tend to forget that, oh, we have to worry about other things. So since the invention of our little blue pill that's come around, they've, have a more active sex life, which is wonderful. But now we have to also worry about having healthy bodies and a healthy sex life. And part of having a healthy sex life is having a protective sex life and protecting ourselves against STDs. And one of those things is HIV. And a way to protect ourselves is using condoms every time we have a sexual encounter. And so people that are not protecting themselves, and our senior population, unfortunately, are one of our biggest populations that are coming but positive for HIV, because they're no longer worried about the pregnancy scares, because those years are past. So they're out there having unprotected sex, so they're coming up positive for HIV these days because they're not thinking about those risks.
And that's where it ties into, is HIV still a thing? So in their day, they really didn't learn so much about HIV. They don't even know it's something they need to be concerned with.
Right.
If it's not in the news, it doesn't exist.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, the numbers bear out otherwise, so we're putting it back in the news.
Yes, we got to
Thank
put it
you.
back in the news. And we.
So how do you help somebody that does have contracts? That you work as obviously you're working with the organization and you have the experience to help people through this problem?
I do, and so we have a peer navigator program, which means that we, people living with HIV, help our clients just navigate life. It's not as simple as just take a pill and go to your doctor's appointment. And even that piece over 10, 20, 30 years is exhausting. So we've all been living with HIV well, and we help our clients.
What's involved in getting tested? Is it a blood test?
It's simple. You can do a finger stick. It's a 20-minute test. You can do a blood test. There's so many ways that we can test for HIV today.
And it's free testing. If someone wants to come in and they're afraid of going to their doctor and telling their doctor that maybe they've been seeing all of their lives that, I had unprotected sex, they're embarrassed to have that conversation. There are so many places they can walk into us and they can say, okay, I want to have an HIV test, and we're not going to judge anybody. We've all been there. We've all wanted to go to some place and say, okay, I want to, have a test. There's no judgment. Walk in. It's a free test. We're happy to sit down. We're happy to provide those tests for anybody.
So explain again why somebody wants to know if they have this, if they have AIDS, why they should get themselves tested, and why they would want to know, besides protecting others.
HIV really has no symptoms. When it gets into your body, you don't know that it's there. And it quietly works on destroying your immune system. By the times that there are symptoms that would indicate that your immune system is having trouble, you've already had it for quite some time. So we encourage people to get tested early, because the treatments are so effective today that we can halt the progression if we know.
So all of a sudden you're feeling run down, you're having all these weird other medical problems going on, and you don't know where it's coming from, and frankly, a doctor may not even think about it.
Right. We hear that story all the time.
Yeah,
The doctors will test somebody for diabetes and cancer.
Right.
They do every test under the sun except HIV, and HIV is actually the problem.
So then you're getting treated for all these other things and probably taking medications that aren't solving the problem or even addressing the problem. Is that right?
Correct, yes.
Sometimes making the problem worse.
Yeah, I can imagine if you're taking medications that really aren't addressing the problem.
Right. And there's really no reason that anyone should die of HIV these days. 30
that's
years
good to
ago,
hear.
we were watching more people die of HIV than should have ever happened. And there's really no reason that should happen these days. We find people, get them tested early, get them into treatment early. There's no reason that we can't help someone live a very long, very healthy life. But the key point is getting tested, and getting tested early. That is the key to all of this.
You guys have a lot of places around the community that they can go to do that?
Yes. We have our main office, which is at the corner of 12th and Tuttle. We also have an entire education team that goes out into the community with our mobile van and does testing, free testing, out within the community. And then we have our peer navigators that are there to help our patients and help the clients when they're testing. We have a case management team to help somebody who's found out they're positive and help connect them to the resources in the community. We have a medical staff, we have a dental staff, we have mental health providers to help with our patients. You know, we're there to help this people coming in. It's a hard diagnosis to get, and people are found that they don't know what to do. We have a whole team of people to help them work their way through this.
What are some of the things that you help people with you know, I assume you need some kind of counseling and
Yeah.
you know, support.
So when it comes to HIV, people just think about the medical aspect of it, and we do have to help people become adherent with their medications and deal with all of the medical care that we now have to do. But really more than that, the stigma surrounding HIV is so huge that we help folks to not let this define them. I mean, if you just think about dating, you know, dating is complicated as it is, but if you have to go out and tell somebody, well, I've got HIV, that piece is really complicated. So we help folks with disclosure, whether it's in a dating situation, a family situation, even medically. A lot of folks with HIV don't tell their doctors or their dentists.
So if you use protected sex, is it pretty clear that you're okay to have sex with in that scenario?
Condoms are about 98% effective if they're used correctly every single time, start to finish. And unfortunately, I think today, a lot of folks think, well, you know, she looks okay or he looks okay, so they leave the condom piece out. But yeah, nothing is 100%, but I'd take 98% over no percent.
Seems like that card that says I'm AIDS-free is you know, makes you a little bit more attractive sometimes. You might get a little luckier having that. Oh, I got my card. Jeez. So obviously people are being stopped from getting you know, advice and testing because they're not thinking that this is a problem anymore. And when we come back from break, we're going to find out a little bit more about how you can protect yourself. Stay with us.
The Harvey Center for Integrative Medicine is helping people every day to thrive and live healthy, vital lives. Our integrative approach combines conventional medicine with holistic and innovative therapies to help you achieve optimal function. Are you ready to function at 100% of your ability? Dr. Fred Harvey customizes tools and treatments to achieve optimal wellness at any age.
Hi, I'm Dr. Fred Harvey. Do you want to feel vital, vibrant, and fully energized? If so, call our office to find out how.
Let's face it, life happens, and the laws change daily. Attorney Joseph Land can help guide you with legal issues you may face while aging. Len Law has helped countless clients in Sarasota and Port Charlotte in assistance with guardianships, Medicaid planning, VA planning, estate planning, wills and trusts, probate, and Social Security disability claims.
I'm elder law attorney Joseph Land. At Len Law, seniors matter. Your rights matter. And the legacy that you built matters.
When a stroke or injury impacts your life, we're here to help you get it back. With our dedicated team of specialists, personalized treatment plans, the most inventive technologies, and a coordinated approach to recovery. This is more than just rehabilitation. This is a higher level of care.
Welcome back. I'm here with Cheryl and Valerie from the Community AIDS Network. It's a huge problem, and most people don't even know. We're ranked #1 in the country. How else is HIV contracted besides unprotected sex? Because there's other ways, and people will probably be surprised to know that.
So it's body fluids. There are certain body fluids that can transmit HIV. They are blood, semen, vaginal secretions, anal secretions, breast milk, and blood. Did I say blood?
Yeah. Sorry.
So is the care when somebody contracts HIV different for each person?
It's totally different for each person. So I take certain medications. I have a friend who tried to take the same medications and she couldn't get out of bed. So just because the medications are there, it doesn't mean that everyone can take all medications.
So it sounds like it, in some cases with most medicine, it's almost a trial and error because not every medication works for everybody.
And some people are resistant, their body is resistant to some medications where other people can take that medication. So when someone comes in, we actually have to do testing on everybody to make sure that their body can take that medication. And then it's not something where you're given a medication and you come back in a year. We actually see the patients every 3 months, including labs every 3 months, to make sure that the medications is doing its job while not causing damage to anything else.
Checking all the other
Yep,
vital
checking your
systems that are
liver,
going
checking your
on.
kidneys, and we do that every 3 to 6 months for all of our patients.
So, like many health disease problems that people take medications for, sometimes the medications are very expensive.
Oh yes.
How does this stack up in the scheme of things?
They can run on average anywhere from $1,200 over $2,000 a month per medication.
Holy cow.
And many patients, some patients are lucky enough to be on one pill once a day. Many patients are not lucky enough to do that and may have to take 3 or 4 medications each day. So if each medication costs you $1,200 a month, it adds up.
And that one pill is a combination. I love that look.
Yes, that one pill
sorry,
is a combination of 3 or 4 medications.
Like, man.
It's hard. And
Yes.
so people hear, oh, there's just a pill. And it's like, oh,
Does
no.
insurance pay for it? I assume if you have insurance and, without, even with the horrible plans we have today with high
Yes.
deductibles, I mean,
Yes.
you'll eat that up in no time.
You will, and insurance most of the time does pay for it. We as nurses spend a lot of time fighting your insurance companies, doing a lot of authorizations to get your insurance companies to pay for them. So we spend a lot of time doing paperwork to your insurance companies to make sure that they cover the medications.
There are also programs out there that will cover the cost of medications and HIV-related care if somebody does not have insurance or can't afford
Yeah.
it.
And that's where we come in and the case managers come in, is that we make sure to connect you to those programs and help you with that paperwork to do that.
I think that's really, if you didn't get anything else out of this, you better figure out that you're not going to be able to afford to live if you don't get tested and check everyone that you're hanging out with.
And we will give you free condoms. We will
Yes.
give you free condoms, as many as you
Yes.
want, no
Can't beat
questions
that.
We
asked.
have
Can't
free
beat that.
condoms everywhere.
Can't beat that. So let's talk about some people that you've helped and some
Yeah.
success stories maybe that you guys have worked with. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, there are so many. So, on average, a lot of our clients still wear wigs when they come into the clinic, big sunglasses and hoodies. They want to come in the back door. If they see a car they know, they just drive right out of the parking lot. I mean, it's really hard for most people living with HIV. And by having women's groups and men's groups and other educational things and the peer navigators working with them, a lot of our clients are actually starting to relax and come in and talk to other people. We have one client who, she's been positive for a really long time. She never told anyone. And the other day she was sitting in the waiting room and she looked at somebody who was there for something else and she said, well, now that I have AIDS, and she just was comfortable talking about it and coming
Came
out
to terms
with it.
with how to deal with it.
And it's been amazing, and I've even watched with some of these groups that some of our patients are now involved in, and they're becoming more comfortable. It's made an impact on their health care. So they're now, becoming more, comfortable, and they're becoming even more comfortable to go get certain testing, like getting their routine mammograms done, or go getting a bone density scan. So we're making sure they're not having things like osteoporosis, and these are routine tests.
Can this cause that problem?
Absolutely, but our patients are aging just like the rest of us. And so as we all age, we all have to do these routine testing anyway. So, but before they wouldn't go because they were so afraid to have anything from another doctor. And so all of a sudden they're becoming more relaxed because they're no longer afraid to have anything that from this doctor, and we may be the only doctor that they see.
And as peer navigators, we are all people living with HIV, so we've been through it, and we help them through it, and it really helps with their comfort level and their confidence.
You have doctors on staff that
Yeah.
see people at with your organization?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
full time.
Do you find that doctors in the community are well versed enough in dealing with this with their patients, or do they know enough to say, hey, go talk to CAN and get some support?
Some are, but I think for the most part, a lot of doctors in the community know what we do, and so they refer their patients to us.
It's 2017, and there are still doctors that don't want to treat people living with HIV. I could take up an entire show telling you horror stories about how much the medical community does not know, but this is helping. If you can help us educate, then they can get the information they need.
How is care individualized for each person?
So my virus, my HIV is completely different than anyone else's. There are tests that we can take that tell what medications might not work in my body, and we start from there. And I could give you my HIV and you would think you would take the same medications, but that wouldn't be the case because your metabolism, your body would change it, and you would likely be on completely different medications. So we are all individual.
Do you find that your people that come and work with you allow you to share that information with their doctors?
Many do, not all. There are still some patients who are very reluctant for us to share any information with their other providers. So we continue to work with them and to talk to them about this. Sometimes, eventually, they do allow that because we do explain to them this is about treating the whole body, and we offer better medical care when we can collaborate with other doctors.
Many people living with HIV have never told a single soul, not friends, not family members, not partners.
And I think the problem with that is you go to your regular doctor and you got a problem and they're trying to treat it and they don't even know what they're dealing with.
Right.
Because
Right.
they're not even thinking about it.
Right.
So it's a medical mess,
Yes.
frankly.
Yeah.
And so this can be a real. How else can people protect themselves from contracting HIV?
Well, one of the things that we do have, it's called PrEP. And it is a prophylactic way of being able to protect yourself against HIV. It is a medication called Truvada. And it is a pill that someone can take every single day. It is not 100% guarantee, but let's say you're in a relationship with somebody that is HIV positive and you are wanting to protect yourself against becoming HIV positive, and you want to ensure that condoms, even though they're 98% effective, you want to add more protection. PrEP.
We're out of time. I'm sorry. This is wonderful. I mean, look, get on the website, give them a call, get information. Best thing you can do, obviously, is to protect yourself and know your health status. So this has been very educational. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week on Thriving on the Suncoast.
Comfort keepers, 'cause there's no place quite like home. Call Comfort Keepers.